Kharkov. I know that you condemn yourself for not joining immediately in Donetsk and Lugansk, that you did not rise along with others to battle against lawlessness and Nazism. I want to say a few words in your defense, my beautiful city. First, you are not a coward. The idea of a national liberation movement originated here in February. Due to your loyalty and intelligence, you trusted those who promised to fight, to win. Those who swore that they will not allow the Nazis to come to power and act as surrogates for the Kiev junta. You gave them a chance, and they have betrayed you. Some of them have already been punished by God for perjury, while some are still waiting for their punishment that will come. I'm sure of it. You cannot deceive hundreds of thousands who have trusted your open heart. No one ever got away with that, and no one ever will. Second, you are again not a coward. Betrayed by those who for many years led you on, you did not lose heart. Tens of thousands of people filled the streets and squares of Kharkov in March and April. And only a few Nazis were hiding in offices in the center of the city, and they were armed. Surprising to you, those Nazis were protected not only by the Kiev junta, but also by the old regime of Kharkov. A few Ukrainian Nazis shot Kharkov citizens without hesitation and killed them. Ordinary people loved and still love you, Kharkov. They do not want to give power to murderers, perverts, and slaveholders. They were not frightened once again, and again the streets and squares were filled with the voices of the people. And again, the people's protests were led by those who seemed interested in exploiting the anger that, however, only dissolved into meaningless and exhausting walking around while the protesters chanted native slogans. And again, the people of Kharkov defeated their fear and took control of the regional and city administrations, but they went too fast. To their misfortune, the people of Kharkov broke into the buildings without any preparation, without a plan for further action, and without weapons. These were the emotions that none of the leaders of the resistance could rein in nor move in a better direction. As a result, military units arrived from the western regions of Ukraine under the protection of the Kharkov police, who then arrested all those whom they could seize and put them away in prison. The moment was lost. The Kiev junta strengthened its position against the people who were protesting the February armed coup and its aftermath. Against the people's leaders as well. They were seized in the streets and thrown into prison. They were beaten and tortured, and it was shown to you on all media outlets to instill fear, to keep you silent and force you to tolerate it all. And then you saw how the junta started to bomb Donetsk and Lugansk. You could not believe it. And when you realized that that is true, that is the reality, you finally matured. But you did not venture out to fight openly. You finally became scared. You were scared for real. You were scared for your children, for the vast number of people who were completely helpless under the shelling and bombing. There would be no opportunity to protect them. A pity to expect anything good from Kiev. Kharkov, you are not a coward. I know it, my dear city, the most beautiful city in the world. When residents of Donetsk and Lugansk took up arms, we still had hope that Kiev would recognize their rights, and they at least would not allow the bombing of civilians in their own homes. Today, you already know how this ended, with a popular uprising against Pyotr Poroshenko. And yes, you are afraid, but this does not mean that you are a coward. This means that it is too difficult to make your choice. And many of your sons and daughters did not lay down their arms, did not tolerate the invaders, were not frightened by the shooting and imprisonment. They continued to fight for the liberation of Kharkov with all the means at their disposal. Many left Kharkov and went into the militias of Donetsk and Lugansk, to then return there with the army of Novorossiya. But we stayed here in Kharkov, took our children to school, tried to feed our families, going rapidly into an economic and social abyss. But we still look forward to the day when we can join the liberation movement and remove the hated power which has destroyed Ukraine. The Ukraine which we all have loved. And from our struggle will be born a new state which will be led by honest, fair, bold, and most importantly, people who respect God, by people for whom other people's lives and fairness to all are of higher value than wealth. Let God rise in our wonderful land and in our souls.
Да воскреснет Бог, и расточатся врази Его, и добежат от лица Его ненавидящие Его, яко исчезает дым, да исчезнут, яко тает воск от лица огня, так и да погибнут беси от лица любящих Бога и знаменующихся крестным знамением и в веселье глаголющих. Радуйся, пречестный и животворящий кресте Господень, прогоняя бесы силою на Тебе пропятого, Господа нашего Иисуса Христа, в ад сшедшего и поправшего силу дьяволю, и даровавшего нам Тебе крест свой честный, на прогнание всякого супостата. О, пречестный и животворящий кресте Господень, помогай мне со святою Госпожею Девою Богородицею и со всеми святыми во веки. Аминь.